We live in a world that never stops moving. Every street hums with stories. Every screen flashes with opinions. We speak loudly about justice, change, revolution, but when silence falls, how many of us dare to listen to our own hearts? We believe the world is broken, yet we never question the cracks within ourselves. We want peace on earth, while our minds are battlegrounds of noise and ego. Change, it seems, has become a word we throw at others, never a mirror we hold to our own reflection. Silence. It's strange how loud it feels when the world stops speaking. When the crowd fades, and the only voice left is your own. In that quiet moment, you begin to see the truth you've been running from. The world you've been trying to change is a reflection of the self you've ignored. Tolstoy once said, "Everyone thinks of changing the world, but no one thinks of changing himself." Those words cut deeper than they sound, because Tolstoy didn't speak about the world out there. He spoke about the world within. Every flaw you judge, every anger you resist, every pain you blame on others, they all live inside you too. The mirror doesn't lie. It shows the cracks we paint over, the fears we silence, the shadows we refuse to face. But those shadows, they are not your enemy. They are the parts of you waiting to be understood. We always imagine change as a quiet awakening, a gentle step toward light. But the truth is far less graceful. Change begins in chaos. It rattles the bones of who you think you are. It tears open the walls you built for comfort. And it whispers a truth you don't want to hear, that the storm you see outside was born in the silence within. You start to question yourself. Why do I repeat the same mistakes? Why do I fear the same things? Why does peace always feel temporary? Because transformation isn't peaceful. It's war between your old self and the one you're meant to become. The mind resists. The ego screams. The heart breaks before it heals. And in that breaking, you begin to see how every judgment, every anger, every wound you blamed on others was really a mirror held toward you. Change is not beautiful at first. It's fire and ashes before rebirth. It's losing yourself just to meet yourself again. When the storm inside finally quiets, you realize it was never trying to destroy you. It was teaching you to listen. Every collapse had a message. Every silence hid a truth. Every wound was a doorway waiting to open. You start to see the world again. But this time, not through judgment or fear, you see it through understanding, because once you face your own darkness, you stop fearing the darkness in others. The world begins to look different, not because it changed, but because you did. You start to forgive more easily, to speak more softly, to love without demanding to be understood. And that's the quiet miracle of change. It doesn't shout. It doesn't demand recognition. It simply turns pain into wisdom and chaos into peace. Tolstoy was right. The world can only change when the people within it begin to. And maybe that's where it all begins. Not in revolutions or declarations, but in one honest moment where you finally decide to meet yourself and stay. When one heart changes, the world shifts, even if only slightly, because the smallest act of awareness creates ripples that touch everything. The way you listen, the way you speak, the way you forgive, each becomes a silent revolution. You begin to notice. People mirror your calm. They soften when you do. Your peace teaches more than your words ever could. And that's the unseen beauty of self-change. It spreads quietly, without banners, without noise. The world you once tried to control starts to reflect what you've become. It's not about fixing everything. It's about becoming someone who doesn't need to break anything to make it better. Change the self, and you change the space around you. Change enough hearts, and the world can't help but follow. Because real revolutions don't begin in streets, they begin in souls. And now, silence again. But it's not the same silence you began with. This one feels lighter, softer, almost sacred, because when you've met yourself, you no longer run from stillness. You sit inside it. You listen to it, You belonged to it. Change was never about becoming someone new. It was about returning to who you were before the noise. The world outside still moves, still argues, still demands. But you've learned the quiet art of being. You've seen how peace isn't found, it's remembered. How wisdom doesn't arrive, it awakens. And how every soul that dares to look inward lights a path for those still searching. So as the light fades and your reflection softens in the glass, remember this: the mirror never changed. You did.